everyone, it's another STEAM at Home with Miss Erin, and this week we're going to make tissue paper snowflakes. For this you're going to need some thick paper like cardstock or watercolor paper. You need a Sharpie. Make sure you use some kind of Sharpie or other kind of permanent marker because it won't work otherwise. You need water. You can use a brush for your water or you can use a spray bottle. And you need some tissue paper. Something I learned this week is that you have to make sure you have tissue paper that will bleed. That means the color will rub off. If you have tissue paper that will not bleed, this will not work. Finding bleeding tissue paper is not that difficult, but you just have to read the package. So your first thing you do is take your Sharpie and your watercolor paper and just draw a snowflake. My snowflake, pretty simple. You can get very fancy with this. My paper's pretty big too right now, so I just trying to fill it up. Right, that's my snowflake right now because just quick and simple. Then I take my water, my spray bottle. My bottle's a little broken, so I'm gonna do a couple squirts and just kind of spread it out with my hand. Notice the Sharpie does not come off. Sharpie and permanent marker will not rub off with water. If I used regular marker, we've learned in other STEAM at homes that of course the regular marker with water will then bleed and spread out. Then you want to take your tissue paper. Make sure your hands are dry when you touch your tissue paper. You can use scissors or you can just rip pieces off. I just like to rip the pieces off. So take your bleeding tissue paper and kind of put it over top here. Again, you want to make sure your hands are dry every time you touch your tissue paper. So you might want to pre-rip your tissue paper. I have to keep drying my hands here. Because of course, once water hits the bleeding tissue paper, it will of course bleed. So you could fill up the whole paper if you like. I'm just putting some on here. And then you want to put a little bit on top of it too. It's going to be very wet. And I recommend doing this over top of something like a blank piece of paper because it will bleed through. There's a lot of different ink here. You can see how it's bleeding. So I'm just kind of moving it around to get some nice color on there. And then I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. And because I already did one, I can show you. Ta-da! This is what happened with my first attempt. You can see this one was even simpler than the one I did before, but the colors are beautiful there. I used the pink and the purple, and of course you can see the blue coming out even in there. So I hope you enjoy making these tissue paper snowflakes. If you stop by the library on Thursday, you'll be able to pick up a kit to try this at home. See you next week.